Have you ever asked yourself this question? If I had to choose between God and wealth, what would I really pick? It is easy to say we would choose God, but if we look honestly at our daily life, most of our time, energy, and heart is invested in running after money, possessions, and comfort. We measure our success by what we own rather than by who we are. And yet, deep down, we all know that no amount of wealth can buy love, peace, or freedom from the fear of death. Welcome, dear friends. You are watching this channel where we explore the deepest questions of life and share insights to bring peace, clarity, and spiritual strength. Today, we will reflect on one of the most difficult choices every human being faces: God or wealth. By the end of this journey, you will see how the pursuit of wealth without God leads to emptiness, and how the pursuit of God brings a richness no money can ever provide. Wealth is temporary. Every coin, every property, every luxury is left behind when we take our final breath. Yet people spend entire lifetimes working day and night, worrying about investments and comparing themselves to others. The tragedy is not that wealth disappears, but that the soul gets neglected in the process. Imagine someone who spends years building a palace on sand. When the tide comes, everything is washed away. That is exactly what happens when we build our happiness only on wealth. The tide of time takes it all, and in that moment, we realize we were so busy gathering what could never stay with us that we forgot to seek the one who never leaves. Why do people, even after achieving so much, still feel empty? Because wealth can fill our pockets, but it can never fill our hearts. The hunger of the soul is for love, peace, and union with its source. Without that connection, no matter how rich one becomes, life feels incomplete. Think of great kings in history. They had armies, gold, and kingdoms, but many of them died restless, still searching for meaning. On the other hand, there were saints who owned nothing, yet they lived in bliss and left behind a fragrance that still inspires millions. Their secret was simple. They chose God over wealth. But does choosing God mean we must reject wealth completely? The answer is no. Wealth itself is not evil. It becomes a problem only when it becomes our master instead of our servant. We need money to survive, to care for our families, to serve society. But when we chase wealth endlessly, when we compromise our values, when we neglect meditation, prayer, or inner growth because we are too busy, then wealth has stolen the throne of our heart. The wise approach is balance. Earn what is needed honestly, live simply, and use what you have to support good causes, but never let wealth blind you to the higher purpose of life, which is realizing God within. There is a treasure far greater than gold, hidden inside each one of us. Call it God, call it truth, call it the eternal light. It is the source of all peace and joy. The scriptures of all traditions echo this truth. What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? When we meditate, when we sit in silence, when we turn inward, we begin to taste this treasure. Just a drop of inner bliss is more satisfying than oceans of wealth. It gives us freedom from fear.
It heals the wounds of the heart, and it makes us truly alive. So the real question is not God or wealth, but which treasure do we want to devote our life to? The one that vanishes or the one that lasts forever? There is a story worth remembering. Once, a wealthy merchant lived in constant worry. One day, a sage visited him. The merchant said, "I have everything money can buy, yet I cannot sleep in peace." "Why is that?" The sage smiled and said, "Because you are trying to fill an infinite thirst with finite things. Your soul is crying for God, but you keep feeding it with gold." The merchant asked, "Then what should I do?" The sage replied, "Use your wealth as a tool, not as your master. Spend it to help the poor, feed the hungry, support the needy, but never give your heart only to God, for only He can quench your thirst." My friends, this story shows us that wealth has a role, but it cannot replace the divine. And now, I want to ask you, have you ever experienced a moment when money could not solve your deepest pain? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may inspire someone else. If this message is valuable to you, please take a moment to like this video. It helps spread the light to more people. Let us recap today's journey. Wealth is temporary. It cannot go with us. The soul longs for God, not for possessions. Wealth and God are not enemies, but we must keep them in the right order. God first, wealth as a servant. The true treasure lies within, and silence, prayer, and inner awareness are the keys to finding it. So the real question is not God or wealth, but which treasure do we want to devote our life to? The one that vanishes or the one that lasts forever? Let us not waste this precious life. Let us choose the treasure that never fades. Wealth may make life comfortable, but only God makes life meaningful. Thank you for joining me today. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Subscribe, Masters Love Divine Guidance, for more reflections that bring clarity and peace. Until we meet again, remember, wealth comes and goes, but God is forever. Choose wisely.